Welcome, everyone, to the Everything Show, episode 220. I am your host, Matrix Lord 212. Now I'm with Chris. What's up, Chris?
Hey, what's going on?
All right. So you told me the other day, you broke the news to me. You're the first one to tell me. So why don't you start it off and say what happened the other day?
Yeah, sure. There were some rumors that started leaking. I believe the day before yesterday that there was going to be a new Toho Godzilla movie coming out in recent years. I mean, in coming years. And I thought it was going to be about 2020 or so because
Right.
I thought they were going to wait till after the Legendary series, but it broke yesterday. Toho confirmed it on their site that there's going to be one in 2016, which is 2 years before the next Godzilla movie in the Legendary series.
So
So
now,
pretty
did
exciting.
Godzilla 2 comes out when from America?
Godzilla 2 for the Legendary series comes out, I believe, June 2nd, 2018.
That far away?
Yeah, because
Hmm.
Gareth Edwards is writing a Star Wars movie right now for
Gotcha.
Disney.
Okay. So here's the thing that gets me a little confused because I thought that the family didn't want to have anything to do with Godzilla and they sold the rights to Legendary Pictures. That's what
Yeah,
I assumed, because that's what I read, that's what I heard. So now, is there some type of clause in the contract
I
that if
believe.
it becomes super popular, they have the
Right.
option to make movies as well without being sued? Like they're allowed to both do the movies?
I believe that the family, I might be wrong, but I believe the family gave the rights, they sold the rights to Legendary.
That's
But
what I heard.
I think Toho still has the ability, if they want, to make movies
Okay.
later on.
So in other
But
words,
now they can do it.
Toho is free of the influence of the family that owned Godzilla. So Toho can technically, I guess they signed this contract with Legendary where they have the option to make movies as well without there being an interference,
Yeah,
correct?
I think that it's something along those lines, definitely something like that.
Well, for one, it's just sort of like a Star Wars thing where George Lucas sells Star Wars to Disney, and
Yeah,
then Disney goes crazy with episode 7, 8, and 9, Boba Fett movie, Han Solo movie, Ben Kenobi movie, Yoda movie, blah, blah, blah. They're doing like crazy movies. Without the family's influence as, the owners of Godzilla,
right,
there is no restrictions, and there could be Godzilla movies every friggin' year. You could
right.
have it in 1 year in Japan, 1 year here, and I think that that's phenomenal, especially since I'm hearing that the Japan one is exactly like the other ones, where somebody's in a suit and
Yeah,
going around, and that is fantastic because we love those movies. We grew up on those
absolutely.
movies, and we also love the new versions too. So I would love for them, and my kids would love for them to continue the Toho Godzilla movies. Absolutely, that's like the greatest news known to man.
Now I'm hearing too that it might be a solo movie where Godzilla is just in it by himself, and
With
he
who? With who?
well there would be no other monster. It would just
That's
be him.
terrible. That is
Yeah,
absolutely terrible. See, that's the thing. Why can't they just do things right? Why do they always have to do something that's going to screw up, the characters, the franchises? I mean, certain things don't work. Godzilla has to fight enemies,
hmm
or else it's not that. I mean, this movie was cool, yeah, but you need villains. You need villains. I mean, it's like some of the stuff I'm hearing about Spider-Man now. They want to have a movie with Aunt May and all the females. Like, what are you talking
yeah,
about? Then
yeah.
they want to
No,
have Gwen Stacy come back as a clone because they regret killing her. What are you talking about? Like, Star Wars, different things happening with that, and then I mean, they just so crazy with the stuff they want to do, and they ruin the original concept of what they're supposed to do. So, no, I don't want to see Godzilla in a movie from Japan with no monsters. That would be awful. I mean,
well,
don't they realize that?
this is the thing that I personally don't think that that's going to be what happens. I think what they're going to do is they're either going to do it's either going to be a completely new series. This is pretty much what I'm thinking it's going to be. It's going to be a completely new series where only the 1954 Godzilla happened, and then this is going to be like a direct sequel to that, like they did with the Heisei
I don't want
series,
that.
and that
I want the other Godzilla movies to count.
yeah,
Like
they're not gonna
that's
do that.
terrible.
They didn't do that for the Millennium series either, because if in the Millennium series, which was 2000 to Final Wars, they are all solo movies except for two of them, where
Right,
only those movies happened and the 1954 happened. Same thing with the Heisei series, but I like the
right,
Heisei series more because those movies connected as
right,
time went on.
right.
The Millennium series didn't. The Millennium series, they
I
were all
want them to be
separate.
connected. I'd
Me
rather
too.
them connected,
Me too.
especially since they got a Godzilla game coming out now too. I think in 2015.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
knew that something was up because that's supposed to come out next summer.
Yeah.
And I, for one, want to see new villains created for the
Oh
movie.
yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Like Gigon was from space, right? Like,
Hmm.
why don't we have other monsters from space? King Ghidorah was from space, right? Monster Zero. What about the alien monsters from other planets? Like, why can't we have like an invasion, but not of the aliens, but of the alien monsters?
Yeah, that'd
Like
be
maybe
cool.
like five of them or something, or six, and you could, of course, you could throw in the old ones too. I mean, that would be fantastic. You
I
know,
personally, I want to see what they're gonna try to do with this new series because the thing with the legendary movies is those have to stay grounded so that there's not much you can do. Like I don't think they're gonna introduce aliens or something like that in that series.
right,
But with this one, since it's Toho, they can do whatever they want, and
right.
people will buy it because it's a Toho Godzilla movie.
And technically, if this is super popular, they could be popping one out every year.
Yeah,
And
yep,
that's what they should do. They should pop them out every year.
yeah. That's what they did in 2000. There was Godzilla 2000,
Yes,
then
yes,
versus Megaguirus, then GMK, and went on from there.
right.
Those were like every year. I remember that. I was young
Those are
when that
great.
happened, but
Space
I like that.
Godzilla, Destroyer. I mean, that stuff was awesome, you know?
Yeah,
So
yeah. I'm
that's what
looking
I
at
think.
my Godzilla shelf of all my movies right here, and
Yeah,
I'm
now I just wanted to look
crazy.
because off the top of my head, I couldn't think I was going to miss a couple, but I got the list of Godzilla. Now, of course, for 1954 was Godzilla.
Hmm.
Then Godzilla Raids Again, 55. Then you got, which is interesting, King Kong vs. Godzilla was the
Yeah.
third movie. You know, imagine if it was afterwards. Like, you know, how much more popular it would be or bigger. You know,
Well, there's actually a story that in 1991 or around there, they weren't going to make Godzilla versus King Ghidorah. Originally, it was going to be Godzilla versus King Kong in
right?
the
A new
Heisei
one.
series.
I see.
Yeah, and then they couldn't get the rights,
Right,
and so they went through a whole bunch of other monsters, and finally they said, "Well, let's use King Ghidorah."
right. We got Godzilla vs. Mothra, 64. Ghidorah, the three-headed monster, 1964. Technically two movies. Godzilla vs. Monster Zero, 1965. Godzilla vs. Sea Monster, 1966. Son of Godzilla, 1967. Destroy All Monsters, 1968. Godzilla's Revenge, 1969. Godzilla versus Hedorah. Now, they called it Godzilla versus Smog Monster here.
And I think this
71.
new movie has a big chance of being a sequel to that.
Yeah. Godzilla versus Gigan in 1972. Godzilla versus Megalon, 1973. Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla in 74. Terra Mechagodzilla in 1975. Godzilla in 1985. Godzilla vs. Biollante in 1989. Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, 1991. Godzilla vs. Mothra, Battle for the Earth, 1992. Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2, 1993. Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla, 1994. Godzilla vs. Destroyer, 1995. Then Godzilla, 1998, which was which
That
one
was
was that?
the American one with Matthew Broderick.
Yes, got you. Godzilla 2000, where he fought Orca. Godzilla versus Megaguirus, 2000. Godzilla, Mothra, and King Ghidorah, Giant Monsters All Out Attack in 2001. Godzilla against Mechagodzilla in 2002. Godzilla Tokyo SOS is 2003. And Godzilla Final Wars 2004. And of course, we just had Godzilla, just came out. So, yeah, that would be great, having another Toho Godzilla. Perfect.
Yeah.
As long as they have monsters. And I don't understand why don't they make multiple movies. I was just reading another article, which we're going to do another everything show on Amazing Spider-Man, but
Hmm.
just like the Amazing Spider-Man, they don't know what to do. Well, it's very simple. Just go on three, four, five, six. Have one villain as the focus, and just pop them out. Get some type of deal like Lord of the Rings or Hobbit. Make like freaking six Amazing Spider-Man movies. Pop them out. Film them back to back. Have Andrew Garfield do it while he's young, and
Yeah.
then deal with it later on. Deal with it later on. But at least, if that's what's making you the most money, stop being a bunch of wimps and being afraid. And Sony, get a pair of balls, film six Spider-Man movies back to back, and throw them out. I mean, look what they did back in the past. They threw out a Friday the 13th movie every freaking year. They threw a Saw movie out every Paranormal Activity. They're popping them out like you wouldn't believe. Throw them out there. And if one of them bobs, it wouldn't even matter because you already filmed six of them.
Yeah, you got so many of them coming out.
Yeah,
People are
pop
gonna
them
go
out.
see
And I'm
them.
sure it would be super cheaper to do it, rather than cost each $300 million, $200 million to make. So pop them out. I don't understand why they don't do that. Like if Andrew Garfield is not doing anything now, and you have him for, I think they signed him. He signed for Amazing Spider-Man 3, and I think they extend his contract, or they were going to extend his contract for like 7 movies or something.
I'm not sure.
So why not just, you know what? First of all, if you think about it, Amazing Spider-Man 2 made $783 million. Now, of course, people are saying, why is that a bomb? That's because overseas percentage is different. Just because it made a lot of money overseas doesn't mean that we see the movie
Right.
that amount of money. Okay? So the movie didn't do like super great over here, but it made a lot of movie overseas. So this is what you do. You pop out like 6 Amazing Spider-Man movies. And I'm not even joking around. I'm dead serious.
Yeah.
Sony needs to pop out 6 Amazing Spider-Man movies in 6 years. Okay? So every year you could release it at the same time. Or maybe you could do an experiment and release it 6 months apart like they do Back to the Future 2 and Back to the Future 3. Okay? And then you release it every year. But that's what they need to do. This is the time to do it. Forget about. Don't get scared because right now everybody's a bunch of wimps, and they're like, "Oh my God, I don't know, I don't want to do it wrong." But then they want to do an AMA movie, which is retarded. So, and then
Yeah,
they're talking
when I
about
heard
Spider
that,
Verse. Yeah,
when I heard that rumor, I was just like, "What? Why? Why would you make her? Make Venom get his own movie first? I
yeah.
mean,
And I said from the very beginning, if you remember, like these people are making podcasts talking about stuff about, oh, how Tobey Maguire should team up with Andrew Garfield. I said that from the very beginning. They should do a Shadow Dimensions thing where they have mixed realities or something and whatever. That would be pretty freaking cool.
it's unfortunate, but I don't think we'll ever see something like that.
I know.
It's,
Their imagination isn't as big as it should be. I mean, they need to just broaden their horizons. Okay? Right now, Sony, if they're falling apart, that's what you need to do. Don't worry about making a movie that's going to outdo. Just
Mhm.
make a movie that focuses on Peter Parker and Mysterio. Peter Parker, Kraven the Hunter. And then scrap the whole thing that Oscorp created everything. Okay? Because
Yeah.
that's what you do. You'll make it like, oh yeah, there was just wings there and there was just this there, but they stole the patents from Otto Octavius and Adrian Toomes. So that's what they could do. They can make it like Oscorp stole the patents and that those guys have revenge against Oscorp, but Oscorp didn't recreate that stuff. That's what they need to do. Very simple. They can explain the whole thing in like 2 minutes. Just like Doctor Who sometimes explains stuff in 2 minutes. Oscorp didn't create crap. Okay,
Hmm.
you have somebody else that's the Rhino that comes from overseas and gets pissed off that they're imitating him, just like the Mandarin, and then boom, you
Oh
have a
yeah.
different Rhino. You'd have a different Rhino. You know, you could find out that it's something else with Harry Osborn, Omar Osborn. I wasn't happy with the choices, but you could just throw them out. Don't even have him have the freaking Hobgoblin when he had the weapons man. When he was like the freaking Punisher almost. He had like weapons, all kinds of weird gadgets, like a freaking Batman type. He was a Hobgoblin, he was a villain. And
The
have Spider-Man,
Hobgoblin is an underrated villain,
I
in my
know,
opinion.
have Spider-Man have to deal with that. Like the freaking mercenary. Like that would be ridiculous. You know? Trying to save everybody. This guy's like a freaking sniper and stuff. Like he has all these weapons and everything. It's like crazy.
Yeah.
Throw the Punisher into a Spider-Man movie or something.
Yeah,
You know,
that's something I wanted to bring up. Like, are they ever gonna do something with the Punisher? Are they
they
ever gonna?
should throw him in a Spider-Man movie. Have
Yeah.
Marvel and them work together and throw a freaking Punisher in a Spider-Man movie. That's where he started. How great would
Because I
that
thought
be?
it would be cool if they introduced him in some Marvel universe as like a soldier that like the government hires to take care of like metahumans because no
Right.
one else can do it, and he's like they hire him.
They need to hire Thomas Jane back and just throw him in as
Yeah.
Punisher like he did. That's all. You don't have to explain anything. Look what they're doing now. They're having Mark Hamill be the trickster again for a third time in the Flash, which it's not related to that universe, but it's somehow it's like weird. I don't know how they're gonna do it, but like he's still the trickster in this reality, just like he was in that reality. It's crazy. I got to start watching the Flash, but yeah, I'm also for Andrew Medina, right? The original
Mhm.
Doc Ock. Is that Alfred
Oh,
Medina? Medina
Alfred
Alfred
Molina.
Alfred Molina? He should be Doc Ock in this reality, and
Yeah, he
that's how
wasn't
they could
bad.
do. No, but that's how they could do the Shattered Dimension thing. They could have that thing that you thought he drowned, but he went inside in that thing. That thing created a portal, and that machine went through to Andrew Garfield's universe, and he's
Hmm.
terrorizing and everything. And then he's like, I'm Otto Octavius, and then they have the Otto Octavius from this universe, and like they meet up or something. He's like, "This is what you're supposed to do. This is, and everything." And then you have this universe's Doc Ock and that one, and you have Tobey Maguire like going after him or something. It could be something cool, you know.
Speaking of portals, I don't mean to change the subject off Spider-Man, but did you see the plot for the Fantastic Four reboot?
Yeah, what is it? They go to an alternate reality or something?
Yeah, they all get sucked into an alternate reality that gives them their powers.
That's stupid.
I was like, you
And,
know what
and
it sounded like? It sounded like they get teleported to the X-Men universe.
oh, is that what they're saying?
I mean, because I keep hearing that they want to do X-Men versus Fantastic Four with these Fantastic Four.
Right, I
I
heard
was
they wanted to
thinking
do that too,
if
but
they get teleported to an alternate universe where they get powers in a future movie, they'd be like, oh yeah, you're in this universe where there are mutants, and that's what you are right now.
right,
And, or they just go to another universe where the X-Men are. But
yeah.
it sounds so weird.
I think the X-Men movie is going to be crap. Not X-Men movie, I'm
Oh,
sorry. The Fantastic Four movie is going to be
oh yeah.
crap. The X-Men Apocalypse is going to be fantastic. Deadpool is going to be fantastic. Ryan Reynolds is assigned for Deadpool now, so we're going to see that movie in a couple of
And we
years.
have Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor
Which
Strange.
I don't know what the big deal, the secret was about it. First you announce him, then you don't. I mean,
Yeah.
which also, he's not filming Sherlock Series
No?
4. He's filming just a Christmas special. So
Mm,
yes, now he could do Doctor Strange because when he gets back from being Doctor Strange, then he'll film Series 4, which won't be till the following year. So this year we'll only get one episode of Sherlock, which will be the Christmas special.
I'm also hearing that Al Pacino's in talks with Marvel too to play a character.
They all want to be in something.
Yeah.
They're excited. They just want to be in it.
Yep.
Michael Douglas is in it. I mean, why not? They were all like, "Hey, let's just go out with a bang," you know. You know what I'm saying? Let's be remembered to being a superhero movie. I mean, that's
And I
awesome.
haven't heard any news about Batman versus Superman
I
lately.
know we didn't cover, and again, guys, it's not that I didn't get the information. I got the information about the Suicide Squad very
Oh yeah.
early, just like everybody else, but I'm not a DC guy. So I really didn't cover it, not because I didn't want to or because I couldn't. It's just, I mean, I will cover it just to cover it, but of course it's coming late because everybody else did podcasts on it, but I'm not really thrilled. I'm not a DC guy. I'm not thrilled about that. So I will do it though, because people are like, why don't you do it on everything show? I'm like, I really don't like DC. I mean, I'll do
Yeah.
Batman vs Superman. I'll do whatever, but this thing, like another Joker, really? I mean, all right. Was it Jay Leto? That's what it
Oh,
is?
it's like Jared Leto or
Jared
something.
Leto is the Joker, and yeah, all right, great. God
I'm
bless you.
surprised
All
Will
right.
Smith is playing. Who's he playing? Deadshot or
Yeah, Destro. I don't know something.
Deathstroke?
We're gonna have to go. We'll do a podcast on that stuff. I'm not really familiar with some of the DC characters, but we'll do that. That's pretty much it. I mean, the main focus is that Godzilla is back in where it belongs, and here too. Like, they
Hmm.
have the keys to the kingdom in two different areas. That's just
Yeah,
great.
I mean, years went by and there was no Godzilla stuff,
I
and now
know,
it's like
man. And
so
the
much
Final Wars
stuff.
was cool because you had so many cool guys in it.
Hmm.
Which they need to do stuff like that. You don't, yeah, I mean, you don't have to have like 20 villains, but at least get some new ones, do something cool.
Yeah,
And I
I
think,
can't wait to see if they make new kaiju because Toho well, I mean, obviously
yeah,
they make the greatest kaiju movies. That I haven't heard anything about Gamera either. Gamera's supposed to come out next year. and I think that got kind of swept under the rug.
Oh, Gamera's coming back too?
Yeah, they're apparently rebooting Gamera, and the big
Oh
thing
my
is,
God.
yeah, they're
That's
saying that it's going to be a new version of the
But
monster.
why can't Gamera fight Godzilla? I thought that like they should
Oh, they're
have
two
that.
separate companies. It's like Marvel and DC over
Uh,
there.
all right. Well,
Yeah,
maybe one day somehow. All
I'd
right,
love that.
bro. I'm glad I got you on, bro. I wanted to wait to do that with you, but I
Yeah,
tried to do it
thank
before,
you.
but then I had technical difficulties, and I'm like, all right, it's for the best because I know it would have been great to do with you because you're the one that broke the news anyway to me. So, all right, man. Thank you very much. And again, internet restored on Wednesday night. So I'll be doing podcasts every day since then at home, my new apartment, showing it off. And I will have pictures up on Facebook later. Still unpacking. So
There you
thank you
go.
very much, Chris. And that's
Anytime.
it, guys. Take care. Bye for now.